Saluti. Thursday evening, so I'm breaking my own dry weekday rule, but with good reason. Enjoying a little Pinot Noir here because I'm super stoked for tonight's supper. And this is one of those meals that not only can I not enjoy without a little Vino Rosso, but it's the type of meal where you just want a glass next to you while you prep. It's that type of a thing. And I'm doing it for a very good reason. We'll talk about it in the kitchen. Come on, let's do it.
Come on, let's do it.
So the growing season has begun here in Zone 6. I know, you've heard me say Zone 5 in the past. But guess what? The zones have moved. How's that for climate change? The cool weather stuff is up. That's my broccoli rabe right there. We've got some leeks coming up. Celery just started. That's a slow starter. Some red onion. Lots of red onion. And the eggplant has not started yet. That's a slow starter. But the broccoli rabe already has its first set of leaves. So, I picked up some gorgeous broccoli rabe last night. And I got a little parsley, cheese, garlic sausage. And in the freezer, you'll see those when we're ready, a nice box of homemade cavatelli. Or as the Gavones call it, gavadil. Alright? Broccoli rabe with cavatelli, little sausage. Let me get this camera back in a tripod and let's get started. Okay, I have a pot of water on the back burner for the pasta. Here's that cavatelli. I love cavatelli because, as you can see, it says ricotta. It has ricotta right in the pasta. And I'm trying to remember if I've ever actually made my own. I may have many years ago when I was doing more pasta making than I am these days, ironically, because now I have the eggs from the girls. So I should be doing more. But I'm going to use about half of these. This was fresh out of the refrigerator case when I got it, but I popped it in the freezer. And I'm going to cook about half of this box and hopefully take some to work. This is the bane of my existence, is cooking 2 meals worth of stuff and then chowing it all down. Likewise, this sausage is going to be more of a side that goes with the pasta dish. I could do little chunks and cook them right in with the broccoli rabe. That's a very valid dish that a lot of people do. But I'm going to do something a little different. I'll show you when we get to the stove. But I'm just going to use, well, I do want to take some for lunch, right? So I'll go right here. And the rest of this will go in the freezer. And I'll show you what we're going to do with that in just 1 second. Now, obviously, extra virgin olive oil, which is over yonder. Lots of garlic with the broccoli rabe. This is, if you watched last week's episode, the turkey back stock. I got about 1.5 quarts in the freezer. But that'll thaw down, or we'll just dump it in the hot pot to about 1/2 cup. Of course, pepperoncini. Broccoli rabe does like salt, so we're going to use, a generous amount of salt. I think that's about it. Now, the broccoli rabe, and I think I've done an episode years ago in the old show. I don't know. But if not, we're going to repeat. I don't mind repeating because I promised you people I wasn't going to use the F word much on this show. So if you're sensitive to the F word, I'm sorry. But in this case, I have to say, this is one of my favorite dishes. But I showed you what my grandmother told me with the broccoli rabe. You take the very tip off, and then you peel, right? Actually, you can use a carrot peel, which I probably will, but you want to take a little bit of the outside off, and then you put a little X in the bottom of the stalk. Okay, these are going to be blanched. We're going to parboil them. This is how you get a nice tender stem, right? Now, I haven't even washed these yet. I'm going to wash them. I just wanted to show you all the ingredients. We got everything right here. It's okay if these thaw a little. Might actually be preferable. So let's slide over to the stove. And there's the water in the back starting to boil, but I'm going to get the cast iron on the front, medium heat, just a drop of oil. This is that California extra virgin. It's not bad, actually. And I just got a Spanish one to replace it. So let's just get this in nice and low and get that going while I wash all the broccoli rabe. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll be back, and that should be pretty well along. See you in a few. Okay, we got kind of a multitask operation going on here. Sausage is getting cooked through. Our water's at a boil. Let's get some salt in there because we're going to use the water for the broccoli rabe, but also for the pasta. Okay, so let's get. Now I did all my ends. You see, shaved them with the carrot peeler, and broccoli rabe is a beautiful, beautiful green. Most people are just thinking of the florets, but the stalk, the leaves, don't waste a bit of it. I love this stuff so much. So let's get that down in that boiling water. We're just going to blanch it up for a few minutes, and that gives me time to slice my garlic. Lots of garlic. Now, I think I mentioned my garlic is shot. In a couple of weeks, the new seasons will be coming up. This is from the store, and so I like to get those green center pieces out. They can be a little bit bitter. That's what happens when it gets older. With the fresh garden garlic, you rarely have to worry about that. All right, let's get this started. I did add a little oil for the sausage, but I'll put a little bit more. And I've got the temperature pretty low, so I don't think there's much chance of us burning the garlic. Let's get that in. A little pepperoncini. And broccoli rabe only needs a few minutes. We're just blanching. I've got the turkey stock here, trying to melt it down a little, but that's okay. We can just throw it right in the pan frozen. This was a little piece of the sausage that came off, so I fried it up. That's what was on my knife for the QC. That's a beautiful sausage. Now, as I mentioned, I could just do little drums and put them right in with everything. But when I cook, from the moment I start prepping, in fact, usually even sooner than that, when I just conceive the meal, I start thinking about how I want it on the plate. So I'm not going to cut this that way. I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'm just getting it where it's kind of cooked through, and then I'm going to take it out. Try and get it browned on all sides. Okay. And I think I can get this broccoli rabe in here now. Water and all, that's okay. Pulling a little salt with it. Picking up that sausage flavor. Okay. Now I'm going to pull the sausage. We're going to put it back. It's not fully cooked all the way through. Let's get our stock in. Turkey back stock from last week. And let's salt this a little bit. Put a little crack of pepper in there. And let's get a cover on here and just let that soften up, cook down a little. I do want to leave a little bite to it. That's the beauty of this vegetable, but we want it cooked. This doesn't really fit on here. Wait a minute. Got my old pizza pan from the Breville. How about that? Beautiful. Custom made. Okay, let's let that cook for a few, and then we'll drop the cavatelli. All right, now, while we're waiting for this broccoli rabe to cook, what I'm going to do, and of course I could have done this on the cutting board, but I'm just going to cut it into more manageable size pieces for the cavatelli. You can, of course, cut it up first. I just kind of forgot, to be quite honest. But I've also cooked it now. There's two things about broccoli rabe. We're going to leave it kind of with a nice bite, but I also have cooked it the way my grandmother used to do, like with the broccoli episode. Cook it down to oblivion. So that's why I didn't really cut it, because it just cooks into almost a mush. But we're going to leave this green with a little bit of a bite. So, that being said, do a quality control here. More to taste the liquid than anything else. Oh yeah. It's got a beautiful bite, but it can cook a little more. It's got enough salt. I'm going to go with a little black pepper. It's got a nice spice from the pepperoncini. So, I'm going to give that another minute before I drop the pasta. So come over here and I'll show you my idea for this sausage. It's cooled down. I'm going to take it like so, and then I'm going to cut it lengthwise into 4 pieces because it's not fully cooked yet. So we're going to drop the flat side back on the cast iron. And let's bring that over to the cast iron and do just that. So let's bundle up our broccoli rabe. Take our sausage, place it flat side down, and finish it up right in the pan. Let's get in some of that oil, juice. Pecorino Romano. Let's go with a little. Of course, we're going to serve it on the final dish, but I like to melt a little right in. Okay, sausage is getting cooked. Let's pull the heat back up on the back burner so our water comes back to a boil. And we're going to drop those cavatelli. Okay, I'm just waiting for the water to return to the boil. It's just about there. And so what I did is I pulled the broccoli rabe to the side because it's good. Didn't want to overdo it too much. The sausage is good. That's done. So I'm going to take 2 for lunch tomorrow. Well, actually, I'll take them all out. They're almost going to be a garnish when I plate. Our water's rolling, pasta in. Cavatelli with the rigatto. I'm going to turn the front off until the pasta's ready. Get my bowl over here ready to plate. Have a sip of Pinot Noir. Saluti. Get my slotted here. Move these about a little. Okay, much like the ravioli, you can see them floating to the top. That's a good indication they're getting cooked. I just tried one. Try one more on camera. Yeah. Al dente, but we do want to cook them with the broccoli rabe because these things are like little pillows. They have the ricotta in them, so they're literally just going to suck up flavor. I'm putting them in with that nice starchy pasta water that also had the broccoli rabe cooked in it. And look what happens. This is what I love about this dish. There's fond on the bottom of the pot from sauteing our garlic and everything. Look at these cavatelli, how they're getting nice and lightly browned. Actually, this is a job for some flat wood. What we'll do is we'll take a little pasta water, right? So we get a little emulsion going. Pick up all our fond from the bottom of that cast iron. Break up the broccoli rabe. Get it interspersed with the cavatelli. And I think I'm ready to plate this up. Looks amazing. I think just a touch more pasta water to bring everything together. Okay, heat off. This is rustic. This is trattoria food, so no fancy plating going on here. All right, I think that's going to be supper. These are pretty dense, and that's going to be lunch. So let's take our little sausage pieces again. No fancy plating, but rather than putting chunks, I just thought I'd do something like this. Eat first with eyes, grasshopper. Right? Simple, simple. Now, gotta have a little extra pecorino to eat with. And as a matter of fact, a little bit of extra virgin olio over the top won't hurt either. Just a drizzle. Let's see where we're at. Cavatelli. Oh yeah. With the broccoli rabe. It's only Thursday, but it feels like Sunday. And I guess it is Sunday. What a great dish. Promised I was going to try not to use the F word. I can't help it. Sometimes it just slips out. One of my favorite pasta dishes of all time. Any pasta with broccoli rabe. I do this with penne, rigatoni, farfalle. The bow ties is beautiful. But the cavatelli, the ricotta is right inside the pasta. It's something special. We'll see you for the next episode.
Come on, let's do it.
Saluti.